Hello everybody and welcome for coming to join me today on this workshop all about CV. When I first came up with the idea, I was thinking, I don't know, I was thinking there's lots of talks. I wonder if people are going to attend. So I'm glad some people came and I'm not here on my own today. But yes, my name is Samira Ali, and the reason why I'm doing this workshop is because I am passionate about opening doors, especially getting into tech. And one thing that I've noticed basically being in the field is a lot of the times there's a lot of myth, and also when you talk about something like such a simple thing as a CV, there's a million and one way to do it, because I have a different style, someone else has a different style. There's lots of good ways to do a CV, but there's also lots of wrong information to put in a CV. So I've had the opportunity to work in HR and training, mentoring and coaching, and I've seen like thousands of CV, and I've also interviewed and shortlisted like hundreds of people over the years. So I thought today I'll come and share a bit of my knowledge and give back to the community. So I'm really excited here today to be at B-Sides. So we shall start without further ado. Just a bit of a disclaimer. Normally with this workshop, it takes me over an hour to do, but obviously I've only got a 45-minute slot. So some things like the group work, I'm going to go over it quite quickly, because obviously I can't give you all 10 minutes to work together in a group. But everything else will be the same. Okay, we shall start. Okay, so the most common question I always get is, what makes an excellent CV? Okay. So from my experience working in HR and recruitment, the average recruiter takes about 6 seconds. Okay, literally 6 seconds if you're lucky. Maybe someone like me might take an extra 10 seconds. And if I like something, maybe I'll spend another 2 seconds. But either ways, it's a really short time if you're lucky to get human analyzing your CV. And I'll go to ATS later on. But in a human eye, we're talking about literally just a couple of seconds to make an impression. It's really important when you have your CV that you organize your information, okay? Make sure that it's in order. Don't jumble things up, and there's a specific order for things as well. So it's really important, like, for example, if you're a graduate, the first thing that you have is after your name and obviously your contact details, etc. It's your education first, if you're somebody who graduated just recently, okay? However, if you haven't recently graduated from university, and maybe you're like me, you graduated several years, you would have had some sort of work experience, whether that may be in retail, sales, tech, you name it. Basically, you need to put your order of the jobs that you've had in chronological order. But because sometimes I see people who graduated 10 years ago, but they'll have their degree at the top. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. So definitely important to organize information. It's really also important that you don't treat your CV like a biography, okay? It needs to be really short and simple. I'd say ideally 1 page. But if you're somebody like me with over, 14 years in the industry, then I keep mine to 2 pages, because I can't put everything in 1 page. But however, if you're somebody who's early careers, ideally it should be just 1 page, 1 A4 page. And if you've got lots of work experience that you can't condense, then just 2 pages. And to save extra space, sometimes people write references available on request. Get rid of that. If you've got that on your CV, get rid of that. That's a waste of space. You don't need it. Also, it's really important that when you are listing the jobs that you've had in your CV and your duties in bullet points, describe what is it that you actually did. Don't copy and paste your job description. That is very, very boring. I'm very blunt. It's boring. Don't do that. Don't list out the duties that you did. Literally tell us what is it that you actually did, and what are the key achievements in the role. And again, I've got some examples that I will touch upon later, but definitely just don't copy and paste your job description. Bring it to life. And I'll show you what I mean in a bit. Okay. It's really important that you make it easy on the eye. So for all of you that like lots of colors, I've got news for you. Unless you're really trying to aim for a job like, as a digital marketer or a social media or something in the creative, I think it's really safe to say that keep it to one color or two colors max, something that matches, but not rainbow, because that's just a bit distracting. And all those Canvas CVs, as much as they look good, they're not all ATS friendly. And again, I'm going to touch up a bit on that later on. It's also really important that you proofread. Get your CV looked at by your friend, your family member, anyone else in your community. Maybe you've got a mentor, but really and truly proofread it, look at it, and get someone else to also check it, because you can easily miss things. And also, when it comes down to your CV as well, it's important to show off your skills. This is not the time to be humble. This is not the time to say, I'm good at. Instead of saying, I'm good at, what stops you from saying, I'm excellent at? Okay. Right now, for example, there is CTF, Capture the Flag event going on. Obviously, there's lots of people participating. Could it be that you were number 3? You were the third person, the highest scoring person, like the top 3? Again, if you did, put that down on your CV, but show off your skills. It could be even that the only 3 people did the CTF. You know what? I'll still put that on there, because how do they know? I was only one of, I'm not lying. There was 3 people that did it, and I was one of the top 3. So I will put that on my CV. So again, be specific on the information that you that you write in your CV, but obviously don't lie. I am not condoning lies at all, in case. Okay. Keep updated copies of your CV. And by that, what I mean is, as we apply for different jobs require different skills, and they're asking for different keywords. It's really important that you keep your CV always up to date, updated. And also, when you're sending your CV to a recruiter, don't put down something along the line of Samira.Ali final draft. Please don't save any of your CV, or like Samira.2.1, 2.2. Literally, just your name, the job that you're applying for. Don't overcomplicate it. And by the way, I'm going to give opportunities for questions later, okay? So there will be opportunities for questions. The other thing to remember is keywords. It's really, really, especially with ATS with ATS being used the last few years. And if anybody doesn't know what I mean by ATS, it's the automated tracking system, is the applicant tracking system, which is what a lot of big companies use to filter out your CV. Like once upon a time, and this is a true story, I applied for a job, I don't know, like 11 o'clock at night, as I do. And then I got a rejection 5 minutes later. Literally, 5 minutes later. I was really, sad. But obviously I got over it, and I realized it's because clearly the ATS did not pick up the keywords. Even though I had the keywords, it's because my CV was PDF. So I don't know, when some of you apply, have you ever saw a system that's called Greenhouse IO, for example? Greenhouse IO doesn't like PDFs. So I learned that. That's a tip. So do it in Word document. Ideally, do it in a Word document, your CV, because because obviously I know I did my CV perfectly, but it's just that Greenhouse IO didn't pick up my PDF. So you know what I did? I reapplied with a different email, did a Word document, and then I got invited for an interview. So again, if you get a rejected ASAP from an ATS system, think, what have I done wrong? Okay, what is it? And then see if you can send it again, and definitely experiment with it. Okay, so this is one of the group activities that I do for a lot of my clients, but I'm not going to do that right now because A, all of you are sitting apart from each other, and B, we don't have, I'm under time, so I will move on. But this is I just want to give you this, so I'm going to talk through this. So this is a job description, a fictional job description. And as you can see from this job description right here, it's asking for a lot of stuff. So when I talk about keywords and what is it that they're looking for, when you're applying for this fictional job, it's important for you to match it as much as you can. Obviously, if you don't have the experience, I'm not telling you to get it out of thin air. But however, it's important to think, what is it that I'm doing at work? What is it that I've done at university? What is it that I've done at boot camp? I know some of you might have finished boot camp recently. Okay, what are some of those experiences? And also, as well as focusing on the technical stuff that it's looking for. So, for example, we can see here that it's asking about SQL, and most people should know how to use Excel, or if not, I'll say go on YouTube. But definitely look at SQL and think to yourself, okay, then they're asking for SQL. So if your CV doesn't mention anything about SQL, right there and then you're already, it's X against your name. And also, the soft skills that they're looking for, clearly, because it's a data role, they need somebody who has good attention to detail as well. So it's really important that you think, okay, what is the keywords that they are looking for? They're looking for somebody who is competent at Excel, somebody with analytical skills. So again, it's really important that you say whether you've done that at work or in a project or in a volunteering work experience. Talk about how is it that you've managed data, you know? It could be that you're somebody who's working in a volunteer job, for example. Maybe you're working in, I don't know, let's say a hospice. In every job has some sort of data, you know, like how, like for example, do you ever keep track of how many customers came? What did the customers buy? That's all data. So it's all about how you use your transferable skills. Okay. If any of you have these words on your CV, get rid of it ASAP, delete it. Okay, and sometimes people say to me, Samira, but why do you have motivated and passionate? Surely those are really nice words to have. And yes, they are nice words to have, but what do they mean? Somebody might say they're motivated, but what does that really mean? I mean, I'm motivated to go to the gym, but if it's raining tomorrow, I'm not motivated. You know what? I can't be bothered. I just want to sit at home and drink hot chocolate. But guess what? I'm not motivated. I'm disciplined. I go to the gym every day because I have to, right? Because I like sweet things and I don't want to gain too much weight. So I know motivation is not going to work for me, but I go because I'm disciplined. So the words that you use on your CV are very important, okay? When somebody writes, I'm responsible for, you have a job. Of course, you've got responsibility, but what else have you got? What else have you got out there? So again, think about those words carefully. And also when somebody says, I just handled or I helped, think more about that. Okay, so definitely those words are considered weak. So I would get rid of them ASAP if you have it. Okay, so obviously I told you what makes your CV look weak. These are words that can make your CV look stronger. Okay, and these are obviously only 6 words right here. But however, if you were to Google action verbs, on Google, literally you'll get like hundreds and hundreds of words. So look at action verbs, look at words that make CV strong, Google words that make your CV strong, and you will get like a whole list of them. But yeah, it's definitely that so achieved, initiated, all of those, they are really, really good words. But yeah, there's like a whole lot of words. I just realized this is not coming out how I wanted. It wasn't like that when I checked before. I don't know what happened there. Okay, cool. So I'll read it out. I'm sorry you can't see it properly, but number 1 is how to make your CV ATS proof. So number 1 is don't use images or graphics, okay? So as beautiful as it looks when people put lovely images on your CV, guess what? The ATS doesn't like it. And the reason I know is because I worked on the background system in HR when I did in HR information systems. But yeah, those images, they're not ATS friendly. Avoid spelling mistakes and avoid using special characters. You know, when somebody writes like hash, and sometimes the most common mistake I see as well is people will put in their long list of what they did at GitHub, like the GitHub link or the LinkedIn link. You don't need that. If you're going to send out proof of the work that you did, do it in a separate document. Don't add it to your CV, because those special characters, the ATS doesn't like it. Okay. So the top 4 mistakes that I've seen is not adding the role you're applying. So on your CV, not adding the role that you're applying for right at the top. So you've got your name, And then what I do is, and this worked for me in the past, is I've got my name and then I put down the role that I'm looking for. So if it's cybersecurity analyst, I'm going to put down cybersecurity analyst under my name. Then my contact information, just my email and my phone number. You don't need to put address. Nobody needs to know your full address. And you shouldn't be putting that in the websites anyway. So do not put your full address in. And also it's important as well that you add a skills section. So when people don't add the skills that they have, so by bullet points, either bullet points of the skills that you have or write sentences about the kind of skills that you have. It's really important. And also the other mistake that I've seen is people not highlighting their transferable skills. So again, this is something that you can all think about in the background. So all of you are obviously looking for different kind of jobs, different job titles. So think about, okay, make sure that you spend time researching what are the soft skills needed for your industry. Like exactly. So if you want to work in cybersecurity, what are the soft skills? Okay. What are your hard skills? By hard skills, we mean your technical skills. What are hard skills and stuff like that? Okay. Soft skills. All of us have soft skills. Hard skills, a lot of companies are willing to teach you. And also there's a lot of certifications that you can do online. Like, for example, if you want to learn about Microsoft Azure, the path to learn Microsoft Azure, it's free, okay? The only thing that you have to pay for is the exam. If you want to get the certification, obviously you have to pay for. But if you really want to say that you've got Azure or AWS experience, the pathway to that is free. So again, you can put something in your CV along the lines of currently studying AWS Essential X, currently doing Azure, currently studying for my AZ900 exam. But obviously, when you're asked about that in an interview, you need to be able to pack it up because obviously they're going to say to you, oh, okay, it says here you've been learning Azure. Can you tell us what is it? So again, if you are going to write that in your CV, make sure that you can back it up and make sure. But definitely, remember to look at your soft skills and your hardcore skills and always look at your keywords. So it's important that you research. Okay. So this is a simple CV template. If all of you want a copy of that later on, you're welcome to add me on LinkedIn and I can send it to you. Okay, cool. But yeah, so first things first is just to keep it. So again, I like to keep my CV nice, black and white. Just how I like it. But obviously, if you wanted to add a little bit of color, no harm in that. Okay. So name, and then what I do here is the part where I talk to all of you about the job title. So the job title that I'm applying for. So my name, the job title that I'm applying for, my mobile number and location, email. Okay. And then obviously some people add LinkedIn in. I don't bother. I don't see any point of adding LinkedIn on there, but okay, and then from there on, I always think definitely put down a professional summary. And the mistake that I always see is people put down like a long paragraph. It almost looks like an essay. Please don't do that. I think like 2 sentences or like maybe just a small short paragraph is more than enough. Something that captures our attention. So something nice, simple, that tells me what is it that you are looking for. And also in your professional summary, be specific. Don't write something along the line of, oh, looking to work in a progressive company or get into my first tech job. What first tech job are you looking for? Are you looking for first line support? Are you looking for cybersecurity analyst role? Are you looking for a first GRC role? Be specific, okay? And the area of expertise, this is the place where you show off your skills, soft skills and hard skills, okay? And your work experience, again, bullet points. Please, whatever you do, put your experience in bullet points. The only time I say don't put your experience in bullet point is when the only time I say don't put your experience in bullet point is when let's just say you've done 2-3 jobs that are similar, okay? And then the last job that you're doing that's similar, just a sentence is more than enough. Or if you did a job like, I don't know, 10 years ago, we don't need to know all the things that you did. Again, you can just keep it bullet pointed or just one long sentence. That's more than enough. but relevant information first. That's the rule of, okay, your education. And again, with the education sector, the only time this education sector should be before work experience is if you're somebody who's a recent graduate. And people ask me, what do we mean by recent graduate? I would say max a year, 2, max, within the last 2 years. If you graduated more than the last 2 years, your graduate shouldn't be at the top. Okay, it should always be work experience. And this is another question that I always get asked as well. I get asked, oh, I've had a gap. And obviously life happens. Recruiters don't mind you having a gap on your CV. But what we do mind is you having a gap and not telling us why you have the gap. Like, for example, I took time out when I had my kids. I took time out from work because I was the main caregiver. And in my CV, I didn't hide it. I just wrote career leave as I was bringing up my kids, or on maternity leave. And then what I did is I wrote the things that I did. So for example, during my maternity leave, I'm somebody who likes to keep busy. So what I did is I joined the PTA. I was at the school fundraising for the school. The school loved me because I raised a lot of money, just keeping myself busy. But yes, again, I've learned fundraising skills. I've learned, I was a trustee at the school. So again, if you took time off from work, or let's just say you were looking after a sick relative, obviously, if you were looking after a sick relative, you're not going to have a lot of spare time. But again, just put down, took time off to look after an elderly relative. Life happens to all of us. And if someone's going to discriminate against us because life happened to us and, then now they don't want to employ us, you know what? Do you even really want to work for that place? But yeah, there's nothing, definitely if you've got a gap, don't hide it and say what the gap was for, okay? Okay, so I'm just going to show you now just a quick CV as well here, just something to highlight. So this is who was looking for an IT support role. Again, I made this up. And you can see here that obviously they wrote that personal statement. So they wrote that what they're doing, they're looking for IT service desk, and they've got customer service skills. So whatever skills that you have, it's really important that you highlight those, because customer service skills are a foundation for IT support. What do IT support people do? They talk to people and they're solving problems all the day. So again, that's something that I would highlight. For their skills, this person right here, what they did is they obviously talked about the fact that they've got excellent customer service skills. They talked about their problem-solving skills, and at least they brought down their key skills in bullet points. So key skills is always important. And then when they're talking about their job, they wrote down the things that obviously that they are doing. And again, things like, achieved, we talked about, that's a strong word. Developed, another strong word for your CV is something along the lines of streamlined, gained proficient. So again, all of those words, think about how you're going to put it down when you do it, okay? This is another job that they've had. And again, they've talked about how they demonstrate. So again, it says provided. You've got provided as a first line starter here. You've got demonstrated and then communicated. So again, the more strong words you use, the better it is for you. Okay, and then another old mistake I always see is another thing that I always notice as well is people, when it comes to interest, they write some people write like a paragraph about it. You don't need to. I think with your interest, it should take the least amount of space. Interest and hobbies should take the least amount of space in your CV. And the reason why is we've never recruited anyone just because they had an interesting hobby. So that should be the bit where you spend the least bit on. So again, if you're like, for me, I just put down something, with my hobbies, I just put down bullet points. Podcasting, I just put down traveling, cooking. So again, something nice and simple. This is just an example of how somebody did their opening summary. So, we do your profile summary, how they did it. So again, it just needs to be nice and short and simple. Obviously, if you understand, you've got some technical skills, again, just put down what it is. So this person mentions TCP, DNS, DHCP, that they understand that. But obviously, with this statement right here, I'll make sure that I align it with the job description. So what is the job description looking for? That's what I would do. I would make sure, okay, Make sure your opening statements reflect. So if they say looking for highly energetic and dynamic person, trust me, they'll be energetic and dynamic in my in my summary. So again, you want to match it. And also if they're looking for SQL and data, for example, it was a data analyst role, I'll put down, instead of TCP IP DNS, of course, I'll have SQL, I'll put down Power BI, I'll put down pivot table, you name it. So again, you need to make sure that you, as much as possible, now I forgot my word, but yeah, you need to copy it kind of thing. Copy it, but obviously with intention, and copy it because you are able to demonstrate it, not copy it for the sake of copying it, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to get asked in an interview and you don't know how to answer it. Okay, so I know there's a lot of people who would like to obviously transition, and even so different people come from different work experience. So sometimes I get students, I get people who worked in different industries, and they talk about they don't know how to show off their transferable skills. So what I did right here for all of you is I've got a list of transferable skills. So let's just say this is an example of somebody who worked as a waiter, bar employee. And so again, you don't want to say, served customers their drink and beverages, cleaned tables. You want to go above and beyond, okay? So it's all about the words that you use. So what I wrote here is, obviously, customer service excellence, demonstrated strong interpersonal skills by providing exceptional service to diverse clientele. If we're going to work in restaurants, it's very diverse environment. So again, it's very important that you put that down. And you wrote, and also you working in customer service, there's a lot of problems. So we're really good at problem solving. Okay. Technical proficiency right here is, if you use the till, that's still technical. You can put that down in your CV. Using a till to operate, using a cash system, the credit card system, that's all technical stuff. So again, I just changed it to managed point of sale systems and other, whatever, if there's any bar technology, other ones that you used, of course, you put it in there. And again, so, and also time management. So it's really, really important. I'm not going to read each and every one of those out, but this is how you put your transferable skills. So it's all about the words that you use and how you position yourself. Because sometimes I'll get somebody who worked in retail and they'll just put down served customers, cleared stock. Again, it's like very simple and stuff, but you need to think, okay, but you're not showing off. So show off your skills, what you've done. Don't undersell yourself. Working in customer service is really hard, so definitely show it off. Okay, this is another one for somebody who just works as a volunteer administrator. So one important thing is that when you are actually going and thinking about, okay, my experience and things like that, it's really important that you quantify your results. Numbers are really, really important. So with this one, you will notice that I put down something along the lines of, you got increased productivity by 25%. So all of us at our job, we either saved time, or we saved our company money, or we made money for our company. So that's how you have to see it. Okay, break it down. And when you break it down, quantify those into percentages, into results. Okay. Could it be that you worked in a call center and you took 200 calls every day? I don't know. So again, make sure you quantify the job that you did, okay? Don't just write, worked in customer services, picking up customer calls. That's it. How many calls did you pick up? So again, quantify those results. That data is very important, and it will really help you in your CV. Because obviously we want to stand out. Okay. So the most common question I always get asked is, can I use generative AI with my CV? Of course. Yes. Why not? Definitely use generative AI. Obviously, you've got the common one, ChatGPT, and then Copilot and Gemini. And I'm going to say a big but, okay? Yes, you can use it, but also be careful when you are using it, okay? And it's really important that when you use ChatGPT or any of those generative AI, don't just copy and paste what it gives you, because guess what? It sounds really robotic, and a recruiter will know. So it's really important that you customize it, you edit it, Okay, what I do is I'll put down a question to ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot, and guess what? I use all of it, combine and contrast, add my own spin to it, boom, send, success. So again, you need to be able to utilize the system by making sure that you edit, you're customizing it, and that it sounds natural to you. Okay, and also re-edit it. Edit, like, there's a bit where it always says to you, customize, regenerate, do that. Really, really important that you do that. Just don't copy and paste. It's not gonna end well. That's my word of warning. Okay. So these are just some prompts, and I'm gonna go just quickly just through each prompt and stuff. So the first one is somebody just gives, let's just say generative AI, they just said to them, write me a resume based on this job description, and then they copy and paste and they put the job description. Okay. I personally wouldn't do the first one, but I did that for all of you just to give you an example. Okay. That's not very specific. When you are gonna utilize the generative AI, you have to be very specific, okay? Because literally, if you just say, write me a resume, job title, job description, it's gonna be very generic, okay? Second part, write a resume based on this job title, position, company, and it says include bullet point of achievement that show impact and metrics. That's much better as well now, because at least you're asking it to be more specific. But my favorite one is the third one. So with generative AI, you have to be very specific with the prompt that you're giving, okay? So this is the one I would use, for example. Write me a tailored resume for this title at this company. Don't include an objective statement or references, but include a professional summary, my past 10 years of work experience, and I would say my past 10 experience in HR, with 3 to 5 bullet points per role, and incorporate the most important keywords from the job description. So again, if you're going to use generative AI, make sure you're using like the third one, this example at the bottom more, and make it specific to you, okay? What is it that you're highlighting? What is it that you want to show off? And what is it that you want? So again, be very specific with it. And then once it gives you the answers, make sure you go edit it again, re-edit it, make it sound natural, and then you're good to go. And also when you are gonna send it, make sure you just don't do copy and paste. You have to do copy, plain text, and then take it out from there, obviously, otherwise it picks up. Okay. It's really important also, and again, a lot of people get upset with me when I say this, but it's important that, you don't just use the same CV to apply with every single job. Once upon a time, when the industry was a lot more welcoming in the 2020, 2021, you could pray and spray and you get lots of reply. Now they're not. They're very, very specific. So it's really important that you edit and customize your CV. Yes, it's a lot of work. Yes, it's annoying, but please make sure you customize your CV for each application. I cannot stress that enough, okay? And more than anything, the job hunt is really hard. I know it's rough out there. There'll be times where you might not hear back. You get rejected like I did 5 minutes after submitting a CV, but please don't take it personally. It's not you, it's them. Okay, I promise. But no, keep editing, keep reapplying, and just remember that if somebody says no to you, it just means no for now, but it actually means next opportunity. So make sure you go for that. And that brings us to the end. Any questions? Okay, go ahead.
Is there any jobs that you shouldn't put on your resume? Like, if you just graduated and then you get like a minimum wage job, and but you had not like a good job, you had like something that's seen as more important before that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say you work in like real estate.
Oh, you got a mic. Then everybody can hear your question.
Hello. So let's say like you work in real estate, then you graduate, and you move to a different country, and then you get a minimum wage job. Should you put that minimum wage job on your application, or should you just say that you were graduated and are looking for another job?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think with that's a really good question. I think with every job that you do, so 2 things. If you don't put down down that minimum job, what would you say you're doing just currently looking for a job? It just shows that you're unemployed. Whereas for me as a hiring manager, I'd rather know what somebody did. And do you remember the example that I talked about before? Let me go back. It's about the person who worked as a waiter, for example. A waiter, that's a minimum wage job, right? But you saw how they highlighted their key skills and their transferable skills. So the fact that you got minimum wage job and you graduated still, at least is showing me as a recruiter that you're actually working, and it's about how you position yourself. So did you see the one before where we talked about, so somebody who worked as a waiter, a bar employee, they still, even though it's a minimum wage job, they still do all of these things daily. And then this is what they've added on their CV, and it's showing me that they're working. Obviously, yes, if you were to not tell us about your minimum wage job, nothing's going to go wrong. It's not like you're lying. We just don't know about it. So again, that's up to you if you want to do that, but just ask yourself, why am I doing that? And when you say you graduated and you changed countries, and you moved countries, how long ago graduation is it? Is it like 5 years graduated? Or is it like 1 year ago that you graduated? So again, each case is different. So I don't think it's one of those answers where I can say to all of you just one answer. It all depends on your circumstances. If you graduated a year ago, no harm. Okay? But if it's like 4 or 5 years ago and then you came here and then you've had a minimum wage job, but you're still looking for a job, I would use that minimum wage job to show off the work that I'm doing, the great work that I'm doing, and the way that, and also you can add in the technical skills that you're studying, because obviously, let's just say you want to get into cyber and you're doing a minimum wage job. You're still obviously studying, you're watching YouTube channels, maybe you're doing certifications on the side. So again, I would highlight that on my key skills. Okay. But obviously, if you want to hide it, it's all good. It's up to you. Yeah.
So it's not going to work as a disadvantage for people that are prejudiced. They're that job's seen as lesser. So
no, not at all. I mean, a good recruiter wouldn't discriminate against somebody. I mean, and especially in the tech industry, there's a lot of people coming from all kind of backgrounds, from different jobs. Those are all skills that are needed. They're fresh skills. So definitely. And it shows that you're hardworking.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Just 2 questions. Where would we write what certificates we're doing? Where would we position that on our CV? And the second question is, where would we put that boot camp experience, if we had any?
Okay, sure. So I'll go with the first one. So with the boot camp experience, so I'll answer the second question first. So with the boot camp experience that you've had, I would put down under work experience. So I'll put down, I don't know, let's just say you did a cybersecurity boot camp. I'll put down cybersecurity trainee. And then I will list out the duties, because cybersecurity, correct me if I'm wrong, the boot camps, they're about 12 weeks. That's 3 months worth of experience. So I will definitely put that down under work experience section. And with your certifications, I'll put it under education and training. But also, I would highlight, if you've got a CompTIA Security Plus, or it could be that you've got a CompTIA A Plus and stuff like that. I'll make sure I'll also add it in my technical skills. So as a recruiter, I'm not going all the way down looking for it. So I'll highlight it in my key skills as well. Okay, cool. Anyone else? I think there were some people there. Okay.
Yes. What about voluntary work? You touched on it for a brief second, but where would you put voluntary work on your CV, and how important is it?
Okay, so voluntary work, where did you put it on your CV? Yes, so voluntary work, definitely very important. When I was, obviously, like I said, when I took time off to look after my children, I volunteered at the local school. And what I did, I put my voluntary work experience in my work experience section. So literally, that was the last thing I did. So I wrote, I was a trustee, I did fundraising, I went and asked for donations from the local business, and I listed out my duties, and I put that down under my work experience section, because I did put, so what I did is career break. So I did career break, and then, so I did the career break, and then I said, this is what I did, and then underneath it, so they saw that I was doing things. But definitely under work experience. Yeah. Cool. I think we've got some here,
Hi, Samira.
Hiya.
So my question is, for example, in my case, I started working in the cybersecurity field and then did a degree, just graduated. So I've sort of just graduated, but I've also got experience because I started before my degree. So should I start off my CV with the education at the top or not?
Okay, so did you just graduate now, like this year?
Well, 2023 technically.
Okay, 2023. Okay, but you've got also cybersecurity experience as well.
Yeah, so around 4 years.
Okay. Oh, definitely. I'd put the cybersecurity experience because that's like gold. I'd definitely put cybersecurity experience, and then obviously with your education, what's it called? You know, on your education part, obviously you just put down graduate and the date that you did. So is that a master's or a degree now?
So that was a bachelor's.
A bachelor's, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would say experience first because you've got that amazing experience, and then obviously you can, and then obviously you can just write down as well to say that obviously recently completed my degree. But definitely, and they'll see that by looking at your CV. But I think experience first for you.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. We've got one here as well and one there, so we'll come to you as well. So, but over there first, he's waiting. Yeah. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Samira. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
I noted one point, one of the slides about having to update your CV every now and then for every application you're applying for. Would it be, yes, you really emphasized on it. Would it be, just a question, just a little question, would it be able to be more efficient to have maybe a standardized template of your CV specifying that befits specifying certain specific roles that you look forward to when you're applying for those roles, so that the APT systems are able to pick them up when you submit your application?
So
you really have to keep updating your CV every time you're applying for different roles you're applying for?
That's a good question, but definitely I think with each role that you apply for, you have to look at the job description. Unless they are exactly identical, then obviously you don't need to. And I'll give you an example where you don't have to update your CV all the time for. If you all look at the civil services, for example, look at the civil service website, a lot of their jobs, that especially when it comes to the cybersecurity roles, if it's a cybersecurity analyst, it could be for the Department for Trade, it could be one for the Cabinet Office. If you look for the cybersecurity analyst role, a lot of them are very similar. So let's just say, for example, I went through with one CV, I got an interview with it and stuff like that. Then obviously the next time I apply with the other departments and stuff, you've already got a winning CV, that because with like civil services, they also tell you to fill out an application form. So then you can keep your CV the same, because obviously it's a cybersecurity analyst role that you're applying for. But otherwise, if you're applying for different companies, every job description is going to have a different set of requirement, or a different set of key skills that they want to prioritize, or a specific unicorn. And I say a unicorn because they're all looking for someone different. So again, it's really important that you just read that job description, and you obviously make sure your CV is as close as possible with those keywords. But obviously, if it's the same keywords as the same job description with the other one, then you don't have to change it. But the general rule is obviously whatever company you have, just look at the job description and just update your CV. I know it's a pain, but it has to be done. Okay, cool. And we've got one more question here, please. Yeah. Let's see, look at the time. Sorry, we're running out of time. I'm going to be around here, so if anybody wants to chat to me afterwards, because I have to clear the stage before they clear my mic. So I'll give one more question. Go on.
Thanks, Samira. I've got 35 years worth of IT and cyber security experience. I've got 11 certifications. I've just completed 6 years at Tesco. I'm going through applying for 750 roles, and I've had 2 phone interviews. So what I'm trying to figure out is, if I've got to customise a CV for every single role I do, I'm going to spend hours and hours and hours per submission, and I'm going to miss out on a load of potential roles that I could be ideal for. But what I'm currently doing is I'm just sending a sender's CV with 3 pages with pretty much as your template is, with all the key skills and all the certifications.
Mm-hmm.
but either they're just not getting through, or the recruiters are just seeing, they've got 300 CVs and they've just picked 3 out of the first 50 or something, or they've skimmed the ones that they need, and I'm still sat at home.
Yeah, no, I really empathize. It's really hard. 750 applications you've sent out and only 2 interviews. Honestly, I empathize. And I understand. Again, this is what I said in my presentation. I know it's a pain having to tailor your CV for every single job, but the industry has changed. I've got 14 years experience doing my field, right? And once upon a time, I could send my CV out, put it on Indeed, put it on CV Library, and I used to be inundated by calls. Not anymore. Now they're being really rough out there. And the way that we have to obviously overcome it, or the way I find myself overcoming it is, and what I found successes in is when I've tailored each job, each CV. But because I've been doing it so long now, it literally just takes me a couple of minutes to do each one. And then obviously I utilize ChatGPT, Gemini and Copilot. Like I said, I literally see what they all tell me, and then I customize it into my own part, which again is a lot of work and stuff like that. But however, it's just with all the ATS and all the recruiters out there now, they're all being very picky because it's not a candidate market anymore. And I don't know when it's going to change back. I hope, but I think for now, we just have to persevere. But definitely, I know you said you don't want to obviously do that. And again, I'm not telling you to tailor your CV. You have to do what works for you best. But that's how I found it worked for me. But I wish you all the best though.
Thanks. I mean, the current model's not working, so I do need to do something different.
Definitely. I think give it a go and let me know if you do. Send me a LinkedIn and let me know. But, and if any of you add me on LinkedIn, I will send you, I've got couple of resources that I wanted to share with you. Sorry, let me just quickly do this before they cut my mic off for me. So this is the bit about anybody who's got any gaps in their CV. Feel free to screenshot that, but I can also email it to you. But it's just to say how you got gaps. And I think there was one more person who had a question over there. Was it you over there at the back? That's it. Yeah. Oh, is it? Okay. Oh, sorry. I get told no more question time now, but I'm going to be here so you can come and talk to me. I'm going to be around. Okay. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you.